Well, the appetite suitably whetted. The anthems belted out with gusto by both sets of players and indeed supporters here at the Aviva Stadium. Let's take a look at the two teams. One change to the Ireland side that began the win over Wales in Belfast. Sam Monaghan comes in for Dorothy Wall on the second row. Otherwise, it's as you were. The back row firmly established with Aoife Wafer flanked by Brittany Hogan and captain Erin King. Elena Perry continues in the front row, having enjoyed a superb debut championship campaign for Ireland. Unchanged backline, fly half Dana O'Brien, the only Irish player to have played every minute of this year's championship. Eve Higgins and Aoife Dalton paired in the centre. Bevan Parsons on the wing will be aiming to add to the 4 tries she's already scored in this tournament this year. Well, Scotland make 2 changes to the 15 that began the 11th try drubbing at the hands of France in Edinburgh. One of those is to the pack. Emily Couvra making her 4th appearance of the campaign at number 8. It's back-to-back starts for Louise McMillan in the second row with her partnership with the vice-captain Emma Wassell. The front row unchanged from the weekend visit of France. Behind the scrum, Shona Campbell returns to the left wing in a backline that is otherwise unchanged. 2 tries in her first start for Scotland, so Rachel Phillips will once again play outside centre, the experienced Chloe Rowley at full-back. Captained by Helen Nelson, she partners Leah Bremner Holden at half-back. Quick look at the 2 benches. Vicky Elms-Kinlan returns to the matchday squad, having not featured since round 1 for Ireland. Corinne Grant could make her first championship appearance in 2 years for the Scots. So a huge crowd, and we'll be hoping the Irish players will be able to deliver a huge performance. And Scotland looking to upset Ireland as they have done in 2 of their last 3 meetings. Our match referee is Aurélie Groslo, who also took charge of Ireland's win over Wales at the Videa Stadium in Belfast a week ago. An historic day in Dublin, and we're joined for the afternoon by former Ireland international Grace Stavitt. What an occasion.
Unbelievable occasion. I played here 12 years ago for my 50th cap. I walked out into this stadium and I have to say it was nothing like this. This is just immense and totally emotional, to be honest.
Yeah, huge day for the women's game in this country.
Inside!
It's an Irish side that has gained more and more followers over the last 2 seasons or so under Scott Beeman, as they continue to bounce back from failing to qualify for the World Cup prior to last year's, and have put together 2 very impressive championship campaigns and that quarter-final run as well at the World Cup last season. Here's Bevan Parsons, 4 tries already this year. Gives it to Stacey Flood. And it's there for Emily Lane. O'Brien taken on by Eve Higgins, who had to fight hard to get her place back in this side in this year's championship, but she's more than justified her selection, as has this player, Robin O'Connor. And Aoife Wafer, first big carry, the first of many you suspect from her. But Scotland's first up defence was effective, and they forced the knock on, and that will bring the opening scrum of the game.
Yeah, good battle for the start. Scotland under pressure for that clearance, and we see Robin O'Connor, huge hit there on Meryl Smith. But it was the mistake by Cliona Maloney, just the hands. You see there was Robin O'Connor, maybe Meryl looking at leading with the elbow, but it was just this. Perry gets the offload, Linda Dugang thinks it's for her, and it's just a miscommunication on the edge there.
Well, there are a number of new faces in the Scottish side this season. They're missing so many established internationals, the likes of Emma Orr and Evie Gallagher, Evie Willis, Sarah Bonner, Anne Young, Rachel McLaughlin, all missing, as is Hannah Walker. Lisa Thompson not involved today either, but their front row is experienced in Eliane Clark at tight end, Ellis Martin at hooker, and Leah Bartlett, all 3 based in England in the Women's Premiership 15.
You have no space.
Yeah, and Clark has been playing really well this tournament so far. She gets a lot of turnovers. She's real physical in the tackles, and you know, Leah Bartlett, experienced in there, 54th cap today. So like, it's no bother to them. It's the back row that they've really struggled with. The likes of their captain Malcolm been missing, pulled out early in the Italy warm-up and has been missing since. So she's a huge loss to them. And when you have the likes of Wafer and the Irish team, they would love to have her to match it up.
Well, it's a Scotland 15, all of whom play in either the English top flight or in France.
Yeah, I'm okay. Just, I have a clear message in the changing room.
Yeah, you've Raleigh, the number 15,
so
she's electric.
Respect that. It's unacceptable. We reset twice in the first.
Orly, Groslow, Grace looking to lay down a bit of an early marker and try and get some stability in the scrum from the opening couple of minutes.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, will it be the upper hand with the fact that Ireland had her last week, know how to deal with her, you know, kind of fix the mistakes of last week and give her better pictures this week.
Bind!
So the cut in from Leah Brebner Holden. And that's a big move from the Irish pack, and they've driven the Scots off their own ball. Higgins now looking to slice through the midfield. We'll talk of early markers. Ireland certainly laid one down there. Dan O'Brien, Stacey Flood now. That's a lovely offload from Flood, taken on by Brittany Hogan, who's already scored 3 tries in this year's championship. King fed the ball out to Wafer. It's there for Emily Lane. Quick ball for Ireland. And it's taken in by Maloney MacDonald, who's having a powerful championship at hooker. You have to do so to keep Niamh Jones out of the team. Emily Lane for Wafer again. This time she opts to keep the ball moving. And around the corner comes Higgins! Almost away! King with a pick and go of her own, to within 5 or 6 metres of the Scottish line.
Advantage.
And Ireland now playing with a penalty advantage. Lane waits and loses it.
No advantage.
So they will come back for that penalty.
Okay, time off. HIA 12. 12.
Yeah, and there you... Now you have Meryl Smith there going off after that HIA, but what brilliant play from Ireland, a full team effort there from the scrum, getting the turnover, but the reaction to that turnover, Aoife Wafer being instrumental in that. She got that volleyball pass off out the back to Stacey Flood. Stacey Flood held her feet really well to keep the ball alive, gets an offload, and then it's the next phase. Eve Higgins does great work, and Scotland under huge pressure here and then forced that penalty. But you just see here, Aoife Wafer reacts so quick.
Inside on the 15, inside.
And it was Eve Higgins, great footwork from her.
First line out of the day is effected efficiently by the Irish back from Maloney MacDonald. Founder captain Erin King, who's called a lot of line-outs on herself in the course of the opening 4 rounds. And Ireland looking to maul Scotland over the line. They've absolutely done that. And they've got just the start that they would have been looking for. Well and good all the talk about the history around this occasion and the record-breaking crowd that would greet these players when they emerged from the tunnel. But ensuring the occasion did not affect the levels of performance was another challenge facing these players. And Grace, that's just the sort of start that could put all of that to bed.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and Ireland have been getting through the phases so far, even in this game, so early on, and that penalty. But you see Erin King go up here, set them all. Scotland do well to defend it initially, but just Ireland able to change that point of attack, move that pressure point infield and turn the corner. And it's Cliona Maloney knew exactly where that line was and got the ball down. So they'll be absolutely delighted with that start. And what's key is Scotland gave away that penalty, so if they're under pressure, and Ireland are putting them under that pressure to give away those penalties.
Second try of this year's championship for the Ireland hooker, and the conversion that followed could not have been struck more cleanly by Dana O'Brien. It's the 3rd time in her career that Cliona Maloney MacDonald has scored a try against the Scots in the Six Nations Championship. The restart is taken as well by the Ireland fly half. Here's Chloe Rowley.
Retreat!
Back towards O'Brien again. Pops one off inside to Stacey Flood. Ireland already finding gaps in this Scotland defence. They go wide now through Dalton and Wafer. Bevan Parsons cuts back inside. Good tackle from Shona Campbell. Linda Youngang, who's been rock solid at tight head for Ireland. Statistically, they've had the best scrum of the championship. She's had a lot to do with that. Lane. At the back it goes from Fiona Chutes. Oh, that kick has gone beyond Helen Nelson. And Wafer looking to put as much pressure upon her as she can. Lovely step though from Nelson. Uses all of her experience and does very well for her team there.
Use it!
Carried by Kubra. It's all a little untidy and nervy from the Scots at the moment.
Stand back! Use it!
Yeah, it's huge pressure by Ireland. You know, the chase by King and Wafer just put huge pressure on Nelson and forcing those mistakes.
Use it! Nice touch.
Clearance kick from Brebner Holden, not the best that she's ever produced. Dalton looking to open the field up for Ireland here. Needs to get the offload away. They have 3 numbers outside, and they may well utilise them. Flood keeps it moving. Inside goes O'Connor, and it opens up for the Wexford player. Oh, that's a brilliant try from Ireland. Vision and gas show by O'Connor, who gets her 2nd try in her debut Six Nations Championship. And Ireland have 2 tries on the board already.
Amazing play from Ireland. That all came from the kick-off. Dan O'Brien putting a brilliant kick in behind. And then it was the follow-on kick again and the chase with King and Aoife Wafer. But great decision-making here. As you say, speed of luck. Moving it to Robin O'Connor. She sees it, Raleigh, pushes too hard, gets to her outside shoulder. And it's absolutely brilliant decision-making. You could see them in the warm-up. This Irish team, they're practicing that decision making, and you know, there it comes to fruition. Just really good decision, and it's the speed of ball. Scotland not being able to be set and not able to defend it.
Dana O'Brien's kicked so well in this championship. She is 14 from 19 off the tee, which is up there with any of the other kickers in this tournament this year. But Robin O'Connor, her form in the Celtic Challenge this year, saw her catch the eye of Scott Beeman, and she has more than justified her inclusion from the outset. 2nd try of this year's championship, and she is as lethal as Bevan Parsons is on the other flank when given the opportunity to finish off those sorts of moves.
No, she totally is. Even when you think of that first play, she was instrumental in keeping that ball in.
And here's the other Irish winger, Parsons.
Tackle, release!
Sam Monaghan. Lane
Taken
back to
back.
O'Brien. It'll be taken back in by Chloe Raleigh. Down on top of O'Brien once more. She'll have plenty of time to steady herself and assess her options here. Opts to go with the boot again. Flood trying to lead the chase. Taken by Nelson, and out wide it goes for
Retreat!
Lucia Scott, who had to come in for that head injury assessment for Merrill Smith. O'Brien's seeing an awful lot of the ball so far. It's
Retreat!
being drawn to her, or vice versa. Scotland running it back again. Well, that's gone to ground. Knocked on, Ireland gather it. Presented well by Maloney MacDonald. Aaron King plays scrum half, gives it out to Aoife Wafer, who goes right over the top of a really brave tackle from Shona Campbell, who knew what was coming there and did not shirk her responsibilities. Monaghan, soft hands from her. Eve Higgins. Lane, O'Brien. Good fend. Doesn't often take the ball right to the line, the Ireland fly half, but is clearly playing with a lot of confidence. Here's Maloney MacDonald for Linda Jungang. The two front rowers combining. It's all Ireland at the moment, and Scotland are gasping for breath here after a pulsating opening 11 minutes from the hosts. Maloney MacDonald to Higgins, and now King, and out wide to O'Connor once again. Now, this Irish attack seems to have found a flow status that they've had at moments across the opening 4 rounds of this year's championship, but this is a sequence of plays they're putting together that are leaving the Scots with very few answers to the questions they're being asked. O'Connor again, third time she's got her hands on the ball, third time she's got over that gain line.
Offside.
And the Scots have infringed.
13 blue offside.
Straying offside at that ruck, so Ireland with another free play here, carried by Monaghan.
No advantage. Knock on her.
It's just the speed of play from Ireland is immense, and the work rate off the ball. You see the forwards going to carry, you see the tip-ons, but what you mightn't see is the likes of Brittany Hogan tipping on, but then actually getting into a really good body position to be able to clear that player out that she gave the ball to, and then win that quick ruck ball, and then they're able to move it to the next point of attack. So the work rate for everyone to be on their feet, everyone to be scanning is just immense. And you see Aoife Wafer here, straight over the top of Campbell, and then presenting. And even though you know you have to mark her, she's just so difficult to bring down.
Another clean line out from Ireland. They've already mauled their way over the Scottish line once today. But this is a sequence of plays they're putting together that are leaving the Scots with very few answers to the questions they're being asked. O'Connor again, third time she's got her hands on the ball, third time she's got over that gain line.
Offside.
And the Scots have infringed.
13 blue offside.
Straying offside at that ruck, so Ireland with another free play here, carried by Monaghan.
No advantage. Knock on her.
It's just the speed of play from Ireland is immense, and the work rate off the ball. You see the forwards going to carry, you see the tip-ons, but what you mightn't see is the likes of Brittany Hogan tipping on, but then actually getting into a really good body position to be able to clear that player out that she gave the ball to, and then win that quick ruck ball, and then they're able to move it to the next point of attack. So the work rate for everyone to be on their feet, everyone to be scanning is just immense. And you see Aoife Wafer here, straight over the top of Campbell, and then presenting. And even though you know you have to mark her, she's just so difficult to bring down.
Another clean line out from Ireland. They've already mauled their way over the Scottish line once today. Wafer wants to release it. Out it goes to Lane. Aoife Dalton drops the shoulder, tries to burrow her way over. And Wafer around the corner. She takes some stopping. She reached for the line, didn't quite get there. And it's there for the Irish pack again. Maloney MacDonald is lurking. Are they over? Referee thinks they are. A third try inside the opening quarter of an hour. And it looks like Aoife Wafer's the player getting all the congratulations. And she continues, if it is indeed her try, an extraordinary scoring record in Six Nations Championship rugby. The interesting replay will be certainly worth a look at.
Yeah, it's that post. It's a really difficult area to defend. You're close to it, and she just burrows in right beside it. Scotland not able to defend it. It's very difficult to see here. But the referee's right on it. But she was instrumental in a number of plays there before that, where she was in the middle of the maul. She managed to get the ball back. She then was in the previous ruck, and then she went again. So she's involved in so much to get back in the game, get back on her feet, and be another option.
Well, very difficult to tell exactly who has scored that try. Brittany Hogan was there. Aoife Wafer had made the initial drive. And if it is Brittany Hogan, keep an eye on the blue scrub cap here. And down they go. And Hogan with her 4th try of this year's championship campaign. And her 5th in Six Nations Championship rugby overall. The kick easily dispatched by O'Brien. And Ireland already enjoying a 21-point lead. And they will look to keep the foot down here.
Taken back. Stop.
Away by O'Brien, down towards Chloe Raleigh. 86th cap for her today. Sends it back. Now it may be a bit too long. And Flood will allow this travel all the way over the dead ball line, the end line, and it will be a scrum down if Ireland wish to take one all the way back in Scottish territory.
Yeah, and I thought Raleigh fielded that really well. She was getting the feel of the length of kicks that Dan O'Brien was putting in. She was in a better position to actually catch it on the full, but then just such a long boot. The bounce of the ball, she's always looking for the 50-22, and that one, just the bounce not kind for her. But what's interesting on Ireland on their counter-attack, when they kick midfield, or when they receive a kick, they attack back midfield, and what that does then, it gives them options either side to be able to attack, which is really hard for the defence.
It's an Irish scrum that has enjoyed 100% in terms of its success rate through rounds 1 to 4. Just to confirm that Meryl Smith rather, will not be returning to the game, having failed her head injury assessment, as Wafer barrels her way forward, and off goes Bevan Parsons. Big hand up. Grappling with her was Eva Donaldson.
She's okay first.
Erin King. And Emily Lane, inside it goes to Elena Perry. What a brilliant championship she's had for Ireland, having previously represented England at this level.
Stay back.
Lane out to Monaghan, who had to reach for that. There for Lane again. Eve Higgins now. She started the game really well. Good tackle by Rachel Phillips. The Scotland have strayed offside again, so it's another penalty advantage for the Irish, who've been able to take some risks in these situations, and they're generally risks that have paid off. That has eventually turned into a maul, so Ireland will come back for the penalty.
We've seen Aoife Wafer in Wales give that exact same move. She's so dangerous off the back of that scrum. As you said, strong scrum, but then you've Aoife Wafer getting over that gain line, and then that out the back pass to Bavian Parsons, who's waiting there. Bavian did really well, stepping back in, keeping that ball alive, but the speed of Ruck to be able to get that ball away again, it means that Scotland have to go offside. You see here, her strength, her offload, always looking to get that pass. But Ireland just playing with an immense pace here today.
Well, 2 line-out walls have led to 2 tries. Ireland look to make a 3 from 3 here. Chute wins the line-out. And away they go again, looking for that corner. Scotland have infringed again. Linda Jungang driving over that line, didn't quite get there. Ireland still playing with that advantage. And a try has been awarded. Bonus point secured already, and there may be further punishment for the Scots, who continue to give penalties away.
Yeah, set piece working really well. They haven't been quite as accurate in some of the lineouts, but they've been really clinical in this 22, and they'll be really happy with that. The previous games, the likes of the France game, where they weren't able to turn all those opportunities into points, but for this game, definitely have been. You see Linda Jungang came so close when she peeled off, and then it was King that picked the ball up and managed to burrow through and get that ball down.
Well, the referee's given the Scots a warning as well for the continued and increasing penalty count. So Erin King with the try, her second Six Nations Championship try, and a chance for Dana O'Brien to continue her impeccable record from the tee today. Not quite this time. Well, that try from the captain, Grace, brings Ireland to 21 tries in this year's championship. That is the most they have ever scored in a single Six Nations Championship campaign.
Yeah, and I think it's, you know, testament to how far this team has come. You know, you look at 2023, this team got the wooden spoon in the Six Nations. It was Scotland that beat Ireland in 2021 for the World Cup qualifiers, where Ireland didn't even go to the World Cup then because of that loss. So this is a team that have really turned it around, got to a quarter-final of a World Cup, and now been able to attack and be so dangerous, and not just from mauls, but out the back, out edges. We've seen them against Italy, Bavian Parsons getting hat-tricks. So they've just been an all-round team, and defensively as well, the amount of tackles, the amount of dominant tackles and turnovers has been huge. So they definitely are growing as a team.
And they're growing in confidence. That was a superb kick from Dana O'Brien, made even more effective by the manner of the kick chase. Well, you could be argued that this has been the most impressive quarter of Test match rugby produced by an Irish women's side in many, many years. Stacey Flood, Sam Monaghan, Lane for Maloney MacDonald and O'Brien, and now Aoife Wafer for Dalton, and Bevan Parsons out to the speed out wide. Parsons wriggling away, popped it off to Wafer, couldn't quite hold her balance. Brilliant offload to Dalton, however. Maloney MacDonald. It's high-octane stuff from Ireland that are leaving the Scots breathless here. Eve Higgins, Stacey Flood almost intercepted, breaks to O'Connor.
Is there a break? No.
Linda Jungang, backed by Erin King. Yet another Scottish penalty. They may well be down to 14 players shortly. Monaghan with a big carry inside the 22. Lane for Perry. Put down by Rachel Phillips, the 24-year-old who's with Sale in the Premiership, as Stacey Flood looks to get in on the act here. Slower ball this time as Ireland just take it down a notch. Jungang with yet another carry. Lane inside to Maloney MacDonald. Opts to take it on herself this time, and it was a good decision too. Was that knocked on by the Irish 9? It was by Emily Lane.
Knock on.
The big thing in Ireland's attack is they're able to get over the gain line every time they carry, and as you said, it comes from that territory, the kick from Dana O'Brien, the chase from the likes of Robin O'Connor, putting huge pressure on Scotland.
It is the reason
but when they get the ball, the Dugangs, the latch on, the Perrys are able to get over that, and Scotland are chasing, having to work back, not quite get set, and you see the likes of Parsons here keeping the ball alive. Scotland are chasing shadows. By the time they get set, the ball has moved again, and it's really difficult to defend. But as you said, Scotland need to be wary now in the 22, and this is where they've been giving away most of the penalties.
And Aaron King was just questioning the referee as to whether or not Ireland should have been given a penalty for that knock-on earlier. It was a genuine attempt to play the ball. Again, the Scottish scrum untidy, but this time they have secured possession. Trying to make some ground was the scrum half, Leah Brevner Holden, who started all 5 games in the championship this season. Strong carry from Eva Donaldson. Well, that wasn't a great ball outside. Oh, Lloyd did very well to hold on to it. Scots have spent so little time with the ball in this opening 23 minutes. And this pressure will be relentless. Ireland will just continue to pour it on, despite Helen Nelson's clearance.
But what's really good to see is the fact that Ireland are really defending, you know, as if they're on their own try line. You see Baby and Parsons making really good reads, coming up and smashing Rona Lloyd back. You see Brittany Hogan getting into the ruck, trying to disrupt, slow ball down, and then it ends up just pushing Scotland back that little bit more. It slows it down, and then, you know, suddenly now it's an Irish line out on the 22 because Helen Nelson just doesn't get enough distance on it.
It's a problem down there. Scotland have already lost Meryl Smith for the afternoon.
She's a huge loss for them. She was one of their big playmakers last week when Scotland were scoring tries against France. Yes, they lost, but they did get some good scores. It was Meryl Smith in.
Leah Bartlett, who won her 50th cap against Wales in the opening round of the championship, is fit to continue. Maloney MacDonald off the fingertips of Erin King, batted back down by Fiona Chute. Knock on, and there was an accidental offside, so a penalty and some light relief finally for Scotland.
Yeah.
Well, Ireland have won 15 of the last 18 meetings against Scotland in the Six Nations Championship, 4 of the last 6. And they've been utterly dominant here today. They went to Edinburgh last year hoping, expecting to win almost, and Scotland taught them a little bit of a lesson in the final round of the 2025 championship. No doubt there was a little measure of revenge surrounding the enormity of the overall occasion here as well that Ireland would have targeted during the week.
Yeah, and you would have worried that the occasion would have got to them, the pressure would have got to them. But this is just the perfect start that they would have wanted. Scotland rattled, maybe the occasion getting to them, under a bit of pressure from them to get a result.
Well, Ellis Martin penalised for a crooked throw. Just a second start of the championship for her this year. She started against the French last week. They haven't had too many opportunities at a set piece today, Scotland. Ireland did compete, Sam Monaghan jumping across the line. So it'll be an Irish scrum.
Yeah, and you see the argy-bargy before the line out happened, just closing the gap. Linda Dugang putting pressure on at the front, and as you said, there's so many threats in there, especially the likes of Sam Monaghan or Erin King going up, so forces that crooked throw.
They would have spent the entire build-up Ireland looking for a quick start, but surely they could never have envisaged, no matter how well things may have gone, finding themselves in a position such as this.
Yeah, really.
Scotland going early there,
but you
Grace, and being
don't
penalised
control
yet
the
again. The
stability.
penalty count continues to track upwards.
Yeah, and you know, yes, it was a big set piece for Ireland, but just getting a hit in, wanting to get a hit a bit early to hold that pressure on, and Ireland playing the mind games, maybe easing off slightly, and then because Scotland get that push on and Ireland make it really obvious, they win that penalty, and suddenly they're back to where they started, right in the Scotland 22 again. You see here, Scotland pushing, ball's not in. Emily Lane holding on to that, making sure that she doesn't put it in while it's not steady.
Maloney MacDonald, cleanly won again by Ireland. By shoot in the air, then it goes to Wafer, off goes Eve Higgins, attacking that line at full tilt. Lane inside to Erin King, well tackled though, took two to put her down. Ireland go wide this time, Parsons held up by Shona Campbell. Perry, left there for Lane. Monaghan, he's been very prominent so far. Taken on again by Fiona Chutes. It was a pick and go from Linda Jonegang. It's an opportunity now for Sam Monaghan. Lane out wide to O'Brien. Reaching behind before it was Eve Higgins. Wafer goes digging for it, trying to find a way through. Behind her is Brittany Hogan. Jonegang with a carry. And a pick and go right in around that try line. And Ireland keeping it in the forwards. They've had a lot of success with that so far. And Maloney MacDonald reaches out, dots it down. Her second of the game. Try number 5 for Ireland.
Yeah, brilliant try. Ireland being patient in the 22, getting through the phases. But it all started with that line out. The variety in the attack is what killing Scotland. You usually see Aoife Wafer, she peels off the back of that maul, she attacks, but it actually is Eve Higgins that takes it. See Cleena Maloney here, keeps her eye on the ball, sees a wee gap. Just see here, reaches for the line, and straight away she dots it down, even with Emma Wassell trying to keep her out. But it was the success of the line out, the movement, getting it into Eve Higgins' hands, who hit that seam between the forwards and the backs, because the backs have to be back 10 metres. And then that gives Ireland the go-forward ball to get in behind Scotland, and a really good patience from them to not force any mistakes and finally get over the line.
Another almost casual, successful kick for Dan O'Brien.
Time off.
Well, that's going to be reviewed, actually.
Try situation,
Yeah.
and Green in contact with another people into the ruck before to keep the ball.
So Cleena Maloney MacDonald's
Sorry,
try may
you
not
want to show
stand.
me a possible obstruction before try.
So
Yeah,
they're
into the ruck.
looking at a possible
Around the strip.
obstruction around the ruck,
Okay.
and led to the try for the Ireland hooker.
Be interesting to see here
That's
where the
number
ball
2
is
Green.
when she picks it up. So if she's in front of the ball when she picks it up, then she is seen as offside. So Cleena Maloney, ball's in front of her. I don't see anything wrong with that, to be honest, but it'll be interesting to see what TMO says.
Well, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, like if she was...
Is she any more part of the ruck than
No,
those
but
standing
Already?
behind her?
I have a decision.
Yeah.
The number 2 Green is into the ruck in contact with a blue player. She can't take the ball. No try.
Okay, so we have a decision.
Well, Julien Castagnet, the French
So
team,
Jules
seems to be
is
taking
inside
charge
the
here.
ruck. She can't take the ball. It's a penalty against Green, so penalty for you on 5.
it's interesting. I've seen it before not given if the likes of Cleena Maloney reached behind her, between her legs, as she was part of the ruck and did it, but the ball was in front of her. She was on her feet. but because she's touching a Scotland player, even ever so
Offside.
slightly, it's
She's
deemed that
offside in the
she's
ruck
part
because
of the
she's
ruck.
in the contact with the blue player.
Perfect.
But she needs to, yes, before to keep the ball. It is the reason. Yeah, yeah. You are in the ruck. It is the reason. Yeah. On the
So
5.
Ireland's fifth
Hélène,
try
on the
ruled
5.
out. A little bit of a let off for the Scots.
25.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it was Wassel. The
Marks.
fact that she kind of hit off Wassel, or Wassel was
Yeah.
having a hold of her when she picked it
Please.
up. So there we go. That is the impatience, and maybe just leaving it for the next player. But
That's not something you see very often.
No, it's not called very often, to be honest.
An overthrow from the Scots, and Maloney MacDonald, she may not have to wait too long to get back over that try line. What a carry that was. Again, Ireland keeping it in the forwards. It was there for Lane, trying to get over the line as Fiona shoots. Wafer goes looking for it. Goes right, then goes left, and goes over. Well, Maloney MacDonald may not be awarded this try, but she certainly played a huge part in delivering the 5th try of the afternoon for Ireland. And Aoife Wafer simply cannot stop scoring. Now into double figures in 6 Nations Championship tries. That is her 8th in her last 8 tournament appearances.
It's just insane stats. She tops most of the stats in attack and defence. But Gleena Maloney was like a woman possessed there. She was aware of that overthrow. She gathered it and she just put her head down, steamrolled over Scotland and left it on a plate for Wafer. It only had to wait one phase before she burrowed for the line, and she's just so good and so powerful in those close areas to get that ball over.
Second year in succession, she has scored 4 tries in a championship campaign. The current player of the tournament, the reigning player of the tournament, and surely is one of the contenders for this year's gong as well. And there ain't no stopping Aoife Wafer from that sort of range.
Yeah, and what's key with Aoife Wafer is, even like the previous line out, if you defend her, then she has such good IQ that she's able to get that pass away. So even if you suck in on her to close her down, she'll move it and make really good decisions around that.
Retreat! 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 Walking!
Big kick from O'Brien, and chasing it down with Stacey Flood, but there's wonderful skill shown there from Helen Nelson, who held on to it, lost her balance and still flipped the ball away. Taken on by Emily Kubra. Well, Ireland continue to tick along at over a point a minute in a pulsating first half from their point of view, and a demoralising opening 40 if you're of a Scottish persuasion.
Retreat!
What a great kick again. Lane intelligently knocks it back, gathered by Dalton.
2 and 4, no retreats inside to 10 meters.
O'Brien, Eve Higgins. They've been unable to handle Eve Higgins in this first half, the Scottish defenders. She may not have got herself on the score sheet, but she has punched so many holes in the Scotland rearguard. Here's O'Brien, used Dalton as the decoy this time around. Flood straightens up, finds a bit more space, leaves it inside towards Lane. And O'Connor was very quick out of the blocks to snaffle the loose ball.
No advantage. Good contest. I come back for penalty.
We'll come back for an Irish penalty.
2 and 4 in front of kicker.
Yeah, and it's the penalties are really killing Scotland, but it's the speed of Irish play. They're just not able to get set, wanting to put Ireland under pressure there and not getting back behind the kicker. See here, they're all running in front. It's just it's an unforced error really from your outside backs. They know that Nelson's going to kick that. They need to start behind her. Just jump the gun, and as you see there, Scotland 4 penalties to 2.
Ireland looking to the maul again. And another Scotland penalty.
And I think Erin King now needs to start going to the referee. You know, this is the 22 again. It's another one in the line out in the maul, set piece.
Decent kick again from O'Brien. A couple have got away from her over the course of this year's championship, but she's targeting that 5-metre channel, but flawless today.
Yeah, flawless, and you know, this is a dangerous back three for Scotland, but she's been able to find grass. She's been able, that last kick was a spiral bomb up, which Nelson struggled to gather, so a real variety in the kicks as well.
Great win in the air from Fiona Chibbs. What a weapon the Irish maul has been throughout the championship, but particularly this afternoon. Scotland defended it off well on this occasion, however, so Lane will look to use it. Inside she goes to Dalton. O'Brien, skip pass out to the full back, and Stacey Flood finally gets her try. She's had a couple of chances through the opening 4 rounds. The headlines have been taken by the likes of Bevan Parsons and Robin O'Connor, but the other member of the back three is Stacey Flood, and she gets her first of this year's championship and her 3rd try for her country.
It was a great maul from Ireland, but Scotland did well to stop it, but Emily Lane moved that ball. You think Dalton's going to hit a hard line, but get it through the hands. That skip pass from Dana O'Brien straight to Flood, but you know, she's light of foot, she uses her footwork, she steps one way or the other. I thought she was going to fall at one stage, but she just used that agility to get through them Scottish defenders. I think it was Raleigh that shot up on her and she managed to avoid her, so great score from the Irish there. So many times in an attack like that, you would just see the 12 crash it up, but it's the variety, changing the point of attack, moving it slightly wider. Scotland just not able to cope.
Well, Scotland will be praying for the half-time whistle. Not that it'll offer an awful lot of respite, but they may just about be able to get their breath back. There's Raleigh, inside it goes to Helen Nelson. That's been sliced off the outside of her right boot. It'll be an Ireland line out just outside the 22.
It's the first time they've been down here in a long time.
Your mark is here. Yeah.
And a quick look at the defensive work rates of these two teams, and Scotland have missed 7 times, almost more tackles, 8 times than Ireland have actually missed in the entire game so far, and that is just an indication of how much work the Scottish defenders have had to do to try and repel this Irish attack. Back it goes to O'Brien, outside her 22, looking for a little bit of space, down towards Nelson. Good communication between Flood and O'Brien. And it's Flood leading the chase. Coming, looking for it as Raleigh. Oh, she just misjudged it. That's a drop from the skies. Quickly onto it, though, was Lucia Scott. And she kicks it as far as Robin O'Connor. Lovely step off her right initially, then her left, and O'Connor's through again, and she's got even Wafer inside her. Wafer to Flood if necessary. She won't need anybody else. And the swan dive from the Irish number 8, and it just gets better and better for the home side of the Aviva Stadium.
We talked about a bit of a flat game last week against Wales, you know, bringing the excitement, and we were hoping flat today, but that was just immense. The spiral bomb again. Dana O'Brien, take a bow. Stacey Flood puts the pressure on the chase. Loose ball. But Robin O'Connor, what work she did to make that initial break, and the decision making to give it Aoife Wafer, and she has the support of King, I think it was, outside. But because of that support, it allows Aoife to have more space. She does the dummy, and she does a good read and powers through and gets an absolutely immense try there from Ireland.
Dan O'Brien taking her time. Well, in one half of rugby, Ireland have registered their second highest score ever produced against Scotland in a Six Nations Championship fixture, and the record of 59 rather, which was set back in 2014, that's surely likely to go today as well.
Yeah, if they keep going like they are. But Scotland need to change it up. Off the kickoffs here, they're kicking to Dan O'Brien straight away, and she's able to pin them back. Do they change it? Do they go short? Do they make Ireland have to make a decision and try and get it to Dan O'Brien?
Here's Bevan Parsons. A few seconds remaining in this first half. O'Brien has decided that Ireland, and indeed the Scots, have had enough. Puts the ball into the stands. Well, what can you say about that Irish first half performance? 7 tries, utterly dominant in every facet of the game, and they have pulverised a Scottish side that have simply found it difficult to live with any of these Irish players. Second half still to come, but Ireland in an incredible place in what has already been an historic afternoon at the Aviva Stadium. Half-time in Dublin, it is Ireland 47, Scotland 0. Yes, welcome back to the Aviva Stadium in Dublin, where it feels like the party has already started. Ireland producing a truly magnificent first half performance. 7 tries, 47 points to no score. They lead the Scotland team that have to somehow rouse themselves for the second half onslaught that they will surely be anticipating. Erin King leads this Ireland side back out onto the field as they look to cement third place in this year's Six Nations Championship. With Grace Davitt alongside me, it'll take some performance to come close to replicating what they produced in that first 40 minutes.
Yeah, but they've talked the previous games about that ruthlessness and wanting to steam on ahead, and in Italy they would have been disappointed with the second half that they weren't able to live up to that, and I hope this occasion and the people coming on that they'll be able to lift it and keep putting the scores in. Obviously Scotland will want to ruin that parade and get a bit more territory in this half and get a couple of scores, which they're well capable of doing, as we've seen against France last week.
Well, a mixed bag of weather over the course of the afternoon in Dublin has continued in that vein. The sunshine of the first half replaced by driving rain now in South Dublin. So conditions down there are a bit more difficult. A bit of grease in the ball. The handling may not be quite as good as it was in the opening 40. Here's Chloe Raleigh, who plays her club rugby in France with Toulon. Neither side have any changes made to them at half-time. Taken on by Kubra. Well, Scotland will be keen to ask a couple of questions of this Irish defence in this second half. And it is a penalty for the Scots and a chance to get themselves into Irish territory.
It's unfortunate, it's just Eve Higgins there getting caught on the wrong side, getting slowing down the Scotland ball, which wasn't really necessary because on a couple of hits there, Scotland made no ground. They got driven backwards with the likes of Brittany Hogan, so they get a get out of jail card there and get out of their own half. See here, huge hits. Eve Higgins gets in, but just falls on the wrong side, so when the ruck is formed here, she must roll out, and Scotland do their best to hold her there and milk the penalty.
It's just the third line out of the game for the Scots. They've lost the previous 2. Ireland, meanwhile, 8 from 8 in that regard. But they're up and running now, Scotland at the set piece. They look to put some phases together. They have not really had any continuity to their play at all in the game so far. That's a pretty solid carry. Scotland finally finding one or two spaces in the Irish defence. Nelson at the back. Now Chloe Raleigh into the attack, pops it inside to Rachel Phillips. Good tackle by Brittany Hogan. Well, Ireland have already made as many tackles in the first half as they missed in the entire opening 40 minutes, as many in the second half rather. Just 23 tackles Ireland were asked to make in that first half. Dan O'Brien and Linda Jungang in there trying to hold that ball up. Sun comes back out from behind the clouds here, and Dublin and Ireland get in over the ball and win that penalty. And it's Erin King leading from the front as always.
Yeah, Erin King, she's so strong in that area. She's first on the Six Nations list before this round with 5 turnovers. Gets the grounds, the big hit by Monaghan, and she just latches on the ball. I thought Aoife Wafer could have had a penalty a few phases before that. Got straight in over the ball, but had to release it due to the ref calling it. But Scotland changing the tactics here. Even with the likes of Nelson getting the ball, they're not kicking it. They're not wanting to give Ireland the possession. They're working through their phases and finding space and working their way up the pitch. But with that, as you get through the phases, all it takes is one mistake and suddenly you're back to the drawing board.
Maloney MacDonald off the top from King, and Lane for O'Brien, and now Aoife Dalton. Ireland's own little pocket rocket in midfield. Just fell awkwardly for Dalton, but thankfully she's back on her feet. Here's Emily Lane. There's a little go on her own. And it's untidy ball this time for Ireland. In fact, it's no ball for Ireland because the Scots have managed to turn it over. They are now starting to get over that gain line with a little more regularity. Taken in by Bremner Holden, out wide it goes. Nice step off her right by Chloe Raleigh. Now it's back into the hands of Nelson, who's fleet of foot. That fly half for the Scots. But they haven't been able to hold on to it. In goes Erin King again. And it's there for Maloney MacDonald to go in and play scrum half. Sam Monaghan back to Stacey Flood. He's made some very good decisions with the ball today. Lane has to grapple with him for it.
Advantage.
It's another penalty advantage for Ireland.
7.
And the culprit this time, Aoife Donaldson, the Scottish Open side.
On the opposite side, and she's offside in the second time.
Can I speak to you quickly about them at the breakdown?
Yeah.
I feel like they're coming off their feet a little bit and then onto ball.
Okay, no problem. I look.
Thank you.
There was Erin King, masterclass again, latching straight in. It was her work rate on her feet to get around into the good position on the ruck. And latches straight in on the ball. It's such a difficult skill to do. You see so many players, they hit the ground first and then get the ball, but she was straight in latching on that.
There we go.
So great turnover for Ireland again. Patience, good strength in her body. She's holding the weight on her legs. So this is Ireland now getting that territory again.
Oh, there were some running repairs there for Elena Perry. She's fine.
Yeah.
And Ireland would have a line out just inside the Scotland half of the field.
The thing about Ireland's attack is there's such variety in it. You've seen there where it usually be Aoife Dalton or Aoife Wafer getting it, but it was Dalton took it up.
Lane, Higgins took that at a standing start, still manages to pick up a couple of yards. Good tackle though from Nelson. Great handling in the midfield from Aoife Wafer. They found Erin King, who's playing a central role here so far in this second half. And up and under for O'Connor to chase by Dan O'Brien. And O'Connor timed that tackle to perfection. Had the discipline and patience to hit the brakes at the right moment. Carried on by Kubra. Just 19 years of age, the Scotland number 8, the only Scottish-based player in the starting 15, and they've won another penalty. Ireland not releasing.
I think Aoife Wafer's so quick the ref can't see her releasing and going back in, but great time. And Robin O'Connor, she watched Rona Lloyd the whole time. Rona didn't get air, she did not jump, she stayed on the ground, and that just gave a real invite to Robin O'Connor to actually hit her on the full and put her back where she'd started. So huge hit from her, but yes, the mistake again with the penalty there from Aoife Wafer. See there, Scotland getting a bit more possession in this second half, decide not to kick it as much, try and play through the phases and not allow Ireland have that ball.
Well, Ireland were about to make 6 changes, would you believe? Scott Beeman keeping just the one in reserve. Off goes Clean and Maloney. McDonald, another big carry from her. She's been unstoppable at times today. In at scrum half was Bevan Parsons, now Dan O'Brien, out wide to Aoife Dalton. Again, tackled well. Elena Perry, good hands from her. It's a wet ball out there at the moment after a heavy rain shower, and that's spilled by Eve Higgins.
Knock-on advantage.
And it is Scottish ball. Higgins goes in for the poach, driven off it.
Move back, move back. Move back. Thank you. Taken back.
Back to Nelson.
Advantage
Unusual
over
looking
from
kicking
O'Connor.
style on that occasion. Parsons got a late call from Flood and backed off it just in time. Wafer out the back to O'Brien, looking for some space. And has she overcooked that one? She has. So they'll come back for a Scotland line out just inside the Irish half of the field.
Yeah. Time off. Sup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's a lot of changes there, giving everyone their opportunity. It's hard, why not, when there's 47-0 up and you're in the second half. So great game from all those girls. The likes of Clean and Maloney played very well. Fiona Shoots instrumental in that line out. Sam Monaghan getting her start this week. Robin O'Connor's gone, who was absolutely immense in the first half.
Yes, thank you.
And it's an occasion they'll never forget. A record crowd. The first time this venue was hosted a standalone Women's Six Nations Championship fixture. And boy, have the players delivered. In the face of a lot of hype and expectation in the build-up. And Scotland have had another line-out taken from them.
Yeah, it was great pressure from Campbell straight in, and it was Niamh Jones who dived on that ball and secured it.
O'Brien to Higgins. Dalton has Parsons outside her, skips her to go out towards Stacey Flood. Lane. Taken in by Cahill. Another player who's had an impact in this year's championship, her first Six Nations tournament. Higgins again is stopped by Rachel Phillips. Back it goes to O'Brien. Oh, blocked down. Really good work from McMillan, but she's overhit the kick through. First sniff of the Irish try line that Scotland have had in this game.
Time off. 6.
Yeah, you see here, it gets on the left boot.
Captain option.
Gets it with her head.
22.
She's able to kick it the first time, great footballing skills, but just over-egged it on the second kick. The adrenaline was pumping on that one. She was under huge pressure from 2 Irish players.
A change in the Scottish pack. Colin Bogan has come in. another one of the new faces in the Scottish panel this season. She made her debut in the opening round victory over the Welsh, but since then it has gone downhill for the Scots. They are on course for 4 consecutive defeats, although they will be kept off the front of the table by a struggling Welsh team.
Crouch! Bind! Stop. Too many discussion now. Just respect your job, okay? Stay straight, and the long bind, please stay high, okay? Yeah, I'm coming. Yeah. Stop. I'm coming here. Yeah, thank you.
Leah Bartlett trying to use her experience there against Eilish Cahill. Get in the ref's ear, stand up, put pressure on Cahill, but she'll be well used to it now. She's seen her now. I think this is her 3rd time this Six Nations, so 4th time. This is her 4th cap today.
Bind! Set! One.
We'll only get the penalty before Lane can even put that ball in.
Yeah, and Bartlett gets pinned there for pulling that scrum down. This is a good outlet for Ireland. Get in close to the Scotland half, build that territory again. We've seen in previous games when Ireland have done these tactical substitutions all at one go that it gets a bit loose, it gets a bit messy, so I hope they've worked on that and that they start clicking and put in a big performance and make a difference when they come on here.
In fairness to the substitutes, the tempo had largely dropped before they were made. Difficult for Ireland to maintain what they produced in the first half. That was nearly picked off by Scotland, but Flood got there just in the nick of time. Good work from Vicky Elms-Kinlan. The Leinster wing back in the squad today after featuring against England in round 1, but not since. O'Brien gets that ball to ground. Lane for Higgins. Leaf away for it. Here come Ireland again, carried by Ruth Campbell.
No. Stay back.
O'Brien is in the pocket for an up and under here. There's a lot of height on it, not much distance though. Elms-Kinlan underneath it, knocked back on the Scottish side, dropped by Raleigh, and knocked to the person that you would want from a Scottish point of view to gather it, and Aoife away for. Out the back by Campbell. O'Brien, lovely skip pass to Dalton, and she feeds Stacey Flood, who's got Parsons on the outside, Burns back inside, looking to get beyond Campbell, breaks for Flood again. The referee's happy for play to continue. Campbell again. Ireland looking for their first score of the second half. Well, they won't get it here. Brilliant work from the Scottish defence, and excellent in particular from Holland Bogan. Her first real contribution since coming in from the bench.
Yeah, it was great from her, getting in over that ball, but it was real good carries from Ireland, and then the up and under didn't get the distance it required, but who was first on it? The work rate, Aoife Wafer puts it right into the basket. It was Campbell then, huge carry, but what was really good was the decision making from the Irish backs to get that out in the second line of attack, move the ball out to the likes of Parsons, who gets really good ground, but unfortunately just slightly isolated from her support, and then the turnover.
15. 2.
You just see there, look from Ireland, post-contact meters, they're the ones you want, even when you're tackled. How far can you pump your legs and give good ball? And 157 meters is just insane, with only 50 minutes gone in the game.
A triple change made by the Scots. Aisha Sutcliffe is in, Demi Swan as well. So a change at hooker. They try on debut last week for Aisha Sutcliffe, the Glasgow Warriors hooker. Her first line out throw was a pretty good one. Big side Eva Donaldson. Dalton, crossfield kick coming through. Well anticipated though by Stacey Flood, who covered the ground really well. Presented well by Wayford. Lane for Dalton. Lovely step off her left. Her footwork is excellent. She gets that ball to ground so quickly. Brittany Hogan with the carry. Now Erin King took that going at full tilt as well. Lane has a little go on her own, sniping around the fringes. No one in there to play scrum half, so Cahill is there. Untidy ball for Ireland. Scotland penalised for coming in from the side. So Ireland playing with an advantage here. Wafer is skipped in favour of Niamh Jones.
Yes.
King again. Lane. Dorothy Wall out the back. O'Brien for Flood and dropped by Elms Kinlan. But they will come back for that penalty.
It was a great snipe by Emily Lane. Just sees that the pillars got a bit lazy. Nobody switched on for her. She hasn't done it all game, but she picks and goes.
Number 3.
And then they manage to secure the ruck, but then Clark just gets too excited and decides to clear out, but hasn't come through the back of the ruck. We see here, she comes in the side, not from the back, and it's too hard for her to resist when she sees the ball there. It's a great attacking play now from Ireland. Scrum nearly in the middle of the park. Options both sides. Seen them practicing in the warm-up, going left off this. Stacey Flood hitting the line. But then you have the huge space that Aoife Wafer, if she peels right, she can suck in two defenders with Eve Higgins on her shoulder and Avian Parsons wide. So difficult to defend, especially if your scrum is going backwards.
Yeah, just, okay, please, stop. Come here, come here. Please. So, please keep your head out, okay? Please, in the same for you. Keep it in. Yes, thank you.
Pretty simple. Eilish Cahill just finishing the referee sentence for her, knowing exactly what she's looking for. Well, you have to hand it to Scotland because they could very easily have folded once again in the second half, given the onslaught they were put through in the opening 40 minutes, but they've kept themselves together. They've defended with a bit more ferocity, particularly their front up tackling. And they've yet to concede in this second half. They're under pressure here though. Wafer, pick and go for the base of that scrum where she's lethal. Lane for Dorothy Wall. Now Campbell. Erin King again, inside that 5-metre channel. Lane, 5 outside her, one of which is Aoife Dalton. Taken on by Sive McGrath.
Stay back, stay back.
King once again, opts to keep hold of it.
Advantage offside.
Scotland infringing again. Ireland will keep it tight for the moment.
Hand ups. 8.
King goes herself. Scotland refusing to give in here. And back they come for that penalty. Now, at the very least, you would imagine a warning here, if not something a bit more penal.
Okay, Ellen, it's the same in the first half. Yeah. So we need more discipline close to the try line. Yeah. Your player have the underground. Okay. So they are offside. Okay. Do I have a time to talk to you? Yes, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, but if I was Erin King, I'd be saying now this number of penalties in this game, especially in this red zone where Ireland are trying to score.
Scrum? Yeah, we can now. Can we go? No. No, I take the time for the captain to speak.
Erin King trying to take a quick one where Scotland are catching their breath.
That would have been a little unfair on the Scots.
Okay, ready? Yes. No, it's time is off now. Ready? Okay. Time on. Ready.
Well, what have Ireland got up their sleeve here? Lane, good old-fashioned pop it off to Eilish Cahill. Lane again, skips Wafer, out to Brittany Hogan. Hogan is almost there, she is there. Brittany Hogan with another try. Ireland's 8th, and Brittany Hogan's 2nd of the day.
Yeah, brilliant. Obviously their timing was slightly off and the clock went live, but great carry by Eilish Cahill, gets the go-forward ball, gives the momentum to Ireland, and then it's Brittany Hogan coming around the corner at pace, but not only her, but it's the latch onto her. The players behind her driving her through. As soon as that contact comes, you'll see it here. She gets the ball, and it's Dorothy Wall and King that just support her, push her through and make sure she gets that ball ground. So great timing here. You see King pushing those Scottish players back. Great effort and, you know, great resilience from the Irish team to just keep plugging away in this 22.
Another easy kick for O'Brien. She has converted 7 of the 8 tries scored by Ireland today. Dana O'Brien. "20 minutes remaining of this year's championship for these two teams. A championship that promised much for Ireland with their 3 home games. They would have been confident of potentially taking a scalp away to either England or France. They had a very good first half in the French city of Clermont. Didn't quite get the job done. But against Italy, Wales and Scotland at home with 3 different venues, Grace, they really have turned on the style at time and rained in tries in front of their home supporters.
Yeah, it's been immense what they've done and how they're able to play and just keep coming out and putting in huge scores. It's yeah, it's really good.
Well, 3 of the 4 provinces bore witness to this Irish side and the improvements they've made under Scott Beeman. Katie Whelan and Niamh Gallagher both in. Niamh Gallagher made her debut against Wales in Belfast a week ago. Won well by Dorothy Wall. Wafer inside to Eve Higgins. Well held by Erin King. Dalton popped up nicely for her. O'Brien tries to slide one through. Backtracking was Shona Campbell, who's done really well here. And then she's met fearsomely on the gain line. Ireland looking to peg Scotland back inside their own 22.
Inside.
Gallagher, just 20 years of age, the London-born Irish fullback.
Yeah, she's a great player. Gallagher, she played with the Ireland under-20s last year. Had the pleasure of being involved with that team and how good she is. Great Gaelic footballer growing up, and then rugby, and you know, great kicker of the ball, great agility and speed and power. So everything you want in the attributes of one of these Irish backs.
Dan O'Brien attacking the line, pops it off to Gallagher. 2v2 out here. Flood looking to cut inside, and she's lost it. The Ireland backline getting going again in what's been a quiet first half so far.
No advantage, knock on.
You know, Scotland pressure there. They did really well, Scotland, and getting up on Stacey Flood. Maybe Flood just needed to keep her feet a little bit and get a bit more depth.
Nine.
See here, good pass. Dan O'Brien straightens up really well, sucks in Scotland. Gallagher gets the pass away, but really well read by Scotland there. By Campbell, just gets the hit in, forces the knock on, and then Stacey Flood paying it back second time round. But it will be a Scotland scrum here from that initial knock on.
What a half! Scrum blue.
Will be a Scottish scrum. Well, Ireland haven't quite clicked in the second half, but they've certainly dominated the ball in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, what's interesting is Whelan's come on at 9, and what she's doing is she's actually spreading the ball really wide, so those forward pods aren't as tight as they have been in the first half, so it leaves Scotland more time to actually get up, but actually if they get outside the defence, it's a real threat. We've seen Erin King taking one of those passes, and I don't think even Ireland knew who was getting it, which means Scotland have no clue, so it's really hard to defend against.
Again, the Scottish scrum under all sorts of pressure, but they did well to get the ball away this time. Ireland have managed to turn the possession over the Helms Kinlan. Good strength from her.
Donovan's good. Stay.
And it's all rather scrappy down there at the moment. And it's a clearance kick. Give Ireland another attacking platform.
Yeah, unfortunately, Scotland just can't play in their own 22. We've seen them have a bit more possession at the start of this game, but they had more territory. They were playing more middle of the park, but they're getting pinned now in their 22. So the only option they have is to try and kick their way out. And it's just letting Ireland back into this game by giving them that possession, and Ireland are able to get through the phases and keep a hold of the ball.
Knock-on advantage.
Ireland knocking that all in the line out.
It's knock on in the air. Knock on in the air. The ball is unplayable.
And the ball was being played on the ground there by Eilish Cahill, so she's a little fortunate there. She knock-on advantage wasn't converted into a penalty.
Yeah, we see here, just going up, just goes straight through the hands of Campbell there, just not able to keep a hold of it. Good pressure from Scotland. Scotland's scrum now, it'll be interesting to see, do they kick this or do they try and get through the phases? I think they've been so suffocated of possession, they'll want to go through the phases, but they have to get over gain line first time.
Crouch! Bind! Set! It's okay, it's okay.
There comes the Irish power. And an Irish penalty.
Yeah, you can only attack off a scrum when you're able to secure it, and that's huge pressure from that Irish pack. The Irish pack has just been immense today in every facet of the game.
Yeah,
obviously that line out a bit of a mistake, but to be able to turn over the scrum then and turn the screw and pin Scotland back into their 22 again.
There's a decent kick from O'Brien. Gives Niamh Jones a chance at this line out, and this is how this penalty came about. Scotland have had no answer to the Irish power in the scrum today. It's a scrum that has improved so much over the last 18 months. One off the top by Wall. Wall, a set ball came to ground though, and was lost forward.
The clinical thing with Ireland, you know, they want to keep going. You have the changes in. We see the likes of Dorothy Wall, Niamh Jones at the back there, and it's just keeping it tight. Good take by Wall here, and it's just Wafer coming in. Bit too difficult, not able to keep. She thinks Wafer has it, but just ball goes loose. But unfortunately for Scotland, they're under such pressure in the scrum here that it's not really a let-off or a win for them.
The Scots will be thankful that Ireland haven't been able to continue the tempo with which they played in the first half. But they haven't troubled Ireland at all at the opposite end of the field. Still time for them to leave with at least one score. But they've got some defending to do here first.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Where they go. It's a good tackle, and Lucia Scott. Nowhere to go for Holly Cunningham. And Ireland are keeping Scotland in this part of the field, but they're finding it a bit more difficult to find holes in that Scottish defence. There was a really good clearance kick from Helen Nelson. 80th cap for her today.
Let's go, Green, let's go.
And she's usually so instrumental, that boot. In other games, she gives such territory to the team, but they just haven't been able to get a foothold in it, not been in the right areas to be able to use that boot to get down into the Irish half.
Taken well by Dorothy Wall, who's been impressive since coming in off the bench. Ball in the arm of Niamh Jones. Played by Whelan, out to Higgins. Wafer, still full of running. Hungry for more scores. Dorothy Wall, big carry from her. Very well tackled by Holly Cunningham. Dropped by O'Brien. Was that knocked on the ground? Referee says play away. Lane for Dalton. Or Whelan rather for Dalton. And Whelan again, inside to Erin King.
It's okay, it's okay.
Carried on by Cow. Dan O'Brien keeps hold of it, tried to get that left hand free in the tackle for the offload, which never came. Dorothy Wall, almost into the final 10 minutes. Taken well by Sive McGrath.
Play up.
Still going. Put that ball on the deck and regathered, and off she went, more yards gained. Wall again, brilliant offload from her. Ireland edging closer, but it has been lost forward. And again, a Scottish defence showing real character, with this game as a contest long since done. Scotland look to play from their own in-goal area. And they've picked up some decent yardage. That's a fantastic tackle though from Vicky Elms-Kinlan. And as helped Ireland win a penalty as the cavalry arrived in the guise of Dalton and Wafer.
Holding.
Yeah, it's great track defence there by Dalton. She's just such pace to accelerate in, and then Elms-Kinlan getting in over that ball, turning it over, just keeping Scotland pinned in here. They have no way out.
J'ai la même vision. Pas de souci. Ouais. Elle vient driver dans un second temps en fait.
So Dan O'Brien has put that one towards the corner. These are the players in contention for the Guinness Six Nations Player of the Match today, Grace.
Yeah, there's just so many that you could pick, you know, this whole Irish team. They were so good, but, you know, that back row, Wafer with her tries, Hogan with her tries, we've seen King just getting those turnovers, big carries, just been instrumental in everything, the latches, and Dan O'Brien there, what a game for her, those kicks. She's had such a variety of them. She's put Ireland in a really good platform, getting them in the right areas of the park and giving them that go forward, but like the likes of the spiral bombs and kicking into finding grass and just giving them that go forward and giving them that territory that they so need and have those forwards running onto it.
Well, that's a glaring statistic. Scotland have yet to find themselves in the Irish 22 today. And that is how one-sided this game has been.
And not only that, but look at the points when they entered the 22. Ireland said they wanted to be clinical when they got opportunities, and that just shows 54 points out of 22 visits. But Scotland only had 3% in this Irish 22, so haven't been up this half, the Irish half at all, really.
Ready?
And not only that, but now they're just pinned in their own 22 and not able to find their way out, and now Irish possession again.
Time back on.
Ireland again looking to go with the ball.
Four is okay.
Wall is stopped.
Stack on now.
Taken in by Cal. It's a little shoulder goal from Katie Whelan, almost saw her slide through the half gap in midfield. Niamh Jones, nowhere to go, she keeps hold of it. King. Flood, who's had one of the best games she's ever had on an Irish jersey today. Gallagher cuts back inside. Wafer. Well, that seems to have gone forward, which it has.
Forward pass. Yeah.
Scotland introducing Molly Pullman
Okay.
for her 5th appearance of the championship. Into the front row she goes. And coming off is Shona Campbell, so a little bit of a reshuffle from a Scottish point of view with that late injury to the Scottish wing.
Yeah, and that's the real risk when you make all your changes early on in the half, and then suddenly somebody goes down that you're not expecting.
Some colourful language going off the referee's mic in between the two front rows there.
Bang! Set!
Raya Clark prepares to put this one in. The sister of the tight head prop, Eliane Clark. Here's Rona Lloyd, who has had so little opportunity today to show what she's capable of. A player who scored 7 tries in the Six Nations Championship in her career. At the back it went from
19.
Aisha Sutcliffe, but Ireland were offside. Player
Offside.
penalised was Dorothy Wall.
No.
And it was really
ball
good
is up,
defence from
so
Ireland.
it's play on.
Katie Whelan got off the edge of that scrum, managed to get the first defender. They were able to match up really well. Scotland able to recycle it, and then it's just an error, just switching off for a second, not getting back onside.
Your mark, thank you.
Into the final 5 minutes. Scotland, look at the work they've had to put in defensively today. An astonishing number of tackles, now well over 200.
It's just insane to have that stat in a game, and to be honest, most of them are probably in the first half.
The tackle count now stands at 217 tackles made, 51 missed tackles as well. And so little time spent in the opposite half of the field. Out wide by Lucia Scott.
Backwards.
Another tackle for Wall. Carried by Molly Pullman, one of the Scottish base players in this squad. There's only a handful of them. She plays with Edinburgh. Now Holland Bogan. Wall again involved defensively.
Advantage. Side.
Away from making a bit too much of a nuisance of herself there. Penalised by the referee, or on the edge of that ruck. Away goes Lucia Scott, looking for Scotland's first try. Really good tackle from Vicky Elms-Kinlan. And a big carry from Aisha Sutcliffe. Ireland will look to defend their line here. They won't want it breached. Looking to keep Scotland to 0. And they've won a penalty there.
No advantage. I come back.
I thought she was going to say advantage was over, because they did get into the 22. They had a line break. To me, the advantage is over. But she's bringing it all the way back for that penalty. Aoife Wafer.
Side entry.
Oh, side entry. Aoife Wafer did so well driving through. I thought she went straight through the gate, but I thought she was going to get done for going off her feet at the end and just being a nuisance. But seen as a side entry. But what a turnover by Erin King. Getting in. Seen her do it so many times. In over that ball.
Well, we need the
Jacqueline unable to win the penalty.
It looked like Ireland had won a penalty close to their own line, but the referee did eventually come back for that earlier advantage. There's a big tackle from Wafer there.
Yeah, it's huge. And that's the thing, when you have players around you that are able to chop tackle, get people down at source, it's really easy then to get your timing off and get down and know that the likes of Aoife Wafer, Brittany Hogan are going to make those tackles.
So a line out for Aisha Sutcliffe in Scotland, who will be desperate to leave with something after a sobering afternoon to this point. The line out malfunctioning again, gathered by Wafer. The ball seemingly drawn to her. Elms-Kinlan back to O'Brien, who finds a good touch. Well, Grace, time for you to make your mind up. We went through the contenders a couple of moments ago.
Yeah, it's really difficult. As I said, it was 4 contenders, but you could have had more in there. You could have had Robin O'Connor, Dalton, Higgins. They all did so well, Flood. But I have to say, Brittany Hogan was really in there. Erin King, as we just seen at the end. But it has to be this player, Aoife Wafer, red scrum cap, has been everywhere. She's topped the charts before this game, but she's just been immense today. She's made 107 metres. She's had 20 carries. She's had 2 tries, 4 offloads. She's just been immense, and she's been integral in everything that Ireland has done. She's cleaned up loose balls, she's regained possession for them, and she's just had some huge carries, so she has to be the player of the match today.
Well, the old singing, old dancing Aoife Wafer, a player of so many talents, picks up back-to-back player of the match awards. Yet another individual award winging its way to her. And on a day of days for Ireland, and a display littered by brilliant performances, she really has stood out as always. That's a great take though from Roland Lloyd, and Scotland edging closer to maybe a consolation score as time runs out.
No advantage.
Yeah, and what's Aoife Wafer's mum put a post out there over the weekend basically saying it was 12 years ago
20.
Aoife Wafer was here watching us play. And Gorey RFC had put up, well, maybe in 10 years, Aoife, you'll be playing here. Little did they know, 12 years later, she'd be here, and she'd be the key player, the kingpin of this Irish team, getting player of the matches.
And one of the form players in the world game, Aoife Wafer, making over 5 metres per carry, adding to her increasing tally of tries. Aoife Wafer now with 15 tries for her country in just 21 Test appearances. One final chance for Scotland. This time the line-out does go according to plan. Ali looking to disrupt this small.
Side entry.
Penalty advantage for the Scots. Lovely pass from Nelson, all the way out wide to Corinne Grant, who hasn't played in the championship in a couple of years. Coming back against the grain was Lucia Scott. Round the outside was Lloyd. Really good tackle. So they will come back for the penalty.
Yeah, and it's the first time we've even heard Grant's name being called. They haven't had the ball in their hands at all, but Scotland really wanting to finish strong.
In this zone, thank you. It's number 5 side, 8 side entries.
But Ireland will want to keep this score to 0. They will not want to let Scotland in, but we've seen the likes of Sutcliffe score against France last week off the maul, so they're well able to score here, but Ireland really need to put pressure on the line out, drive it back, stay on the ground, maybe sack it. We see there, it's Wafer. I think she's a free license here to get in there. Has to go through the back of that maul, can't come in the side there.
Sutcliffe with the line-out throw. Very well taken. A hint of interference in the area. Yes, there was, so they have another advantage to play with here, the Scots. Here's Holland Bogan. Almost into an 83rd minute here. And it's the Scottish side that has shown an awful lot of heart in this second half. A fresh penalty advantage now coming their way. Out wide they go. Nelson taking it to the line, met by her opposite number, Dan O'Brien.
No hands! Stop!
And still they go, and still Ireland look to repel them. Looking for Rhea Clark. They've a lot of space out wide if they could put it through the hands, and acres of space is Rona Lloyd, but they haven't been able to get it to her. Rachel Phillips with the carry. And now Ireland fan out across the field. Taken on by Eliane Clark. Sutcliffe sent backwards.
Release! Stay back!
And now to Holly Cunningham.
Yes.
Nelson. She was looking for the crossfield kick, didn't quite get the right angle on it. It was always running away from Rona Lloyd.
I think Scotland are nearly probably annoyed themselves. They're still playing here. They're 83 minutes, but pride of place, wanting to get that score at the end. Ireland fighting as if their tournament depends on it.
21st, early drive, and
well, many of the crowd thought that was the full-time whistle.
It's in the rucks for 20 is yellow card. Yeah. 20!
I can see why, you know, there's been a number of penalties, but when you think of the amount of penalties that Scotland conceded in this game, but not only conceded, but conceded in the Irish 22. But I'd say the referees just wants this game to be over now.
And it just shows how desperate Ireland are to keep Scotland to nil. They could very easily have just allowed them in and see the game done, but that's not the way this Irish team are coached, nor is it how they play and approach the game.
No, and that's it. They've been brilliant in attack, as you said, the amount of tries they've scored, but it's their defence, their doggedness, their work rate back to cover. That's what's been different about them this year, and you know, here you are, 84th minute, the last game of the tournament, 54 up, and they're fighting like dogs to keep Scotland out.
Well, we got a glimpse of Denise O'Sullivan, one of the greatest ever Republic of Ireland internationals, in the crowd today, a crowd of over 30,000 that have been treated to quite the spectacle. And still Scotland look to hammer at this Irish line. Almost into a 6th additional minute. And Ireland now down to 14 players. Final seconds of this championship for Ireland and Scotland. Still to come tonight, France take on England for the title of Six Nations winners. But Ireland will finish 3rd, having finished with 3 home wins from 3, but they will not get a clean sheet defensively today. Scotland, and fair dues to them, have kept going. They've refused to die in this second half, have trailed 47-0 at the break. They've limited Ireland to a single score, in the second period, and Aisha Sutcliffe has come up with the ball for her first ever international try a week on from her Test debut.
Yeah, it's just immense what they've done there. Scotland fought all the way to get to the 22, kept pushing on with the penalties, and you know, get that score at the end. They'll be delighted with that to finish. And as you said, second half there, it's a try each in this second half, so they'll be happy, not happy obviously. It's been a tough tournament for them. They started well against Wales, but you know, to get a score, a consolation at the very end, it will give them some solace going into next year.
And as Nelson sent over this conversion, I've done Aisha Sutcliffe a disservice. It's been an incredible start to her Test career. It is a try in each of her first two appearances, having got one on debut. Well, there is the end of the game. What a day it's been for Ireland. Scott Beaman and his players, and Aoife Wafer leading the charge. A 49-point victory. The second most points Ireland have ever scored against the Scots in a Six Nations Championship fixture, on the first occasion of the Irish women playing alone here at Lansdowne Road, the home of Irish rugby. And I guess overall, Grace, it's surpassed the expectations that these Irish players and their supporters would have had for what was always going to be a massive occasion.
Yeah, it's huge, you know, to get these numbers. They put a big push early on to get these tickets sold, and it went out aged, but actually a lot of these tickets have been sold in the last couple of months after watching this Six Nations and how they've been playing, and it's been a real attractive game of rugby. We've seen records broke at Dexcom, we've seen a hat-trick from the likes of Baby Parsons, we've seen them push France for a whole game and really battered them, but France did what France did. But you know, this is really the green wave is well and truly taken hold, and it's only hopefully up and up for this team. I would love to see the two home games next year, the likes of England, world champions France. You know, do we come back here again and fill this stadium?
Well, what a day it's been for Aoife Wafer, for Bevan Parsons, and the rest of these Irish players. It is finished at the Aviva Stadium. Ireland 54, Scotland 5. Well, the celebrations have started.